Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of Uncomfortable Things Happening in the Dungeon. So you killed most of the drow, but turns out some of them were just hanging out in a different wing of the dungeon and didn't get notified there was a huge fight. So they've been busy doing stuff. Let's see.
For the last 16 hours.
Hey, listen. Let's see what they've been up to. So when you're like, we killed all the drow, there's a long pause. And then you hear the click of the door opening, and the door is opened, and this is what you see. So in this room, first of all, there is a drow, a woman. She is wearing ceremonial vestments of Lolth, but they're not like robes. It's the sexier one. So she has an outfit, and she's holding in one hand a scourge, which is like a whip with like barbed ends on it. And she has a light sheen of sweat on her forehead from exertion. In the middle of the room, if you peer past her, so she has her hair all like pulled up and out of her way. And then past her, if you look over her shoulder, you can see similarly dressed another drow woman who is strapped to a large rotating platform, which is currently still and like rotate up. So she's like strapped to it, like face first. So you can just see her back. And her back is covered in not like deep like gouges, but like scratches basically from this scourge. And she I think the woman who's standing at the door looks at you, sees Eight and Marta and Geldax and the zombies and whatever. And she sighs and she says, "Milady, it's some adventurers." And the woman on the thing is like, "Well, come over here and unstrap me." And the woman with the scourge looks at you and just gestures like, "Can you give me a minute?"
We'll be right here.
She nods.
If you cast any spells, I'm gonna kill you.
So she's speaking Undercommon. I think. Do they speak? They only speak Elvish or Undercommon. So unless you can speak one of those two languages, you can't understand
I feel
them.
like Eight's tone is still understood.
Yeah, beep boop. I'm gonna kill your ass. So she doesn't close the door. She just turns around and she walks over and she sets the scourge down. You can see now when she moves that there is a chair with some very neatly folded clothes, a suit of armor, and some other like equipment. So she goes over and she starts unbuckling this woman from the table.
I would, because it's rude to not understand what's going on, especially when your life might be on the line. I would, from the back, I'd just like gently translate for Eight and Rin if they don't understand Undercommon.
Okay.
I speak Elvish, but yeah, if it's undercommon parts, then for sure.
Just so you know that, like, we're not killing yet, evidently.
So she, the other woman goes over, she gets unstrapped. The other woman goes over and she picks up essentially like a dressing gown and like puts it on over top and like ties it around her waist. She doesn't pick up her weapons or anything. She's still like barefoot. And she walks over to the door, and the first woman, the one with the whip, like nods to her and then takes a step back and stands behind her with her arms folded. The woman who's doing the whipping is actually like quite muscular. She's got kind of like an MMA fighter like build. She's short, a little bit stocky, and she looks like she could suplex Eight.
No, she could.
The woman that walks up looks a lot more like you would expect a noble elf to look. She has very, very delicate features. She also has like a little bit of like sweat on her forehead. And she's trembling a little bit because you like right in the middle of her getting like hit with a whip. And she comes up to the door, and when you see her, Jewel, immediately you recognize her features. She's related to Teresa in some way, to the like high priest you killed in the other room. Like,
I don't know if Jewel ever really got a good look at that person's face.
Sure. Okay. So anybody who looks at her who saw that other person, and
Eight
So
has like a kind of Terminator, they're related.
facial recognition.
All elves look the same? Question mark.
So she walks up to the door and she leaves some space in between you so you can't just like knife her in the chest. And she looks, God, who would she think is in charge? It wouldn't be either of the half elves. I guess it's just Jewel. Because like she's looking for like,
Isn't Marta full elf?
she hates her even more. Drow and elves hate each other, right? If there was like a human woman or something, but yeah, so she kind of like scowls and then she looks at Jewel, and she says, "You started a story about killing everyone. Did you want to finish it?"
Yes. Everyone in the other room is dead. They tried to kill us. Complicated thing. We tried to kill them. I did die. It was fun. We all had fun. We don't technically have a quarrel with you currently. I heard some other people on this level do. But we are looking to get to Skullport and find a spell book.
I think we should nix that last thing. I say in under comments so that they don't understand.
Take all their treasure, whether they like help us or not, right? So
she says,
Is the whipping still going on in the other room, by the way?
you never heard any whipping from the other room.
Oh, okay.
It does have an occupied sign on the door though.
Right.
Someone's just going to the bathroom in there.
So you can see her kind of like take this all in, and she says, among the dead, how many women?
I think it was just the one. She looked kind of like you.
How much like me?
Well, considering last time I saw her, she was a mess on the floor. I can't really be sure.
the same.
You can't understand what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, yeah, we gotta leave it to them.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Jewel has to leave it to Makaria because she definitely doesn't know this information.
Well, same nose. Eyes were a bit different. Her hair was full of spiders. Wearing white, I think.
She shakes her head. And this was in the temple. The room to the north of here.
Is that what that is?
One with the guy on the wall that exploded into spiders.
She grins. That's the
Wait,
one.
what?
Yeah, there was a guy on the wall. He exploded into tiny spiders.
Why didn't anyone tell me that?
Because you were dead.
These spiders, how big were they?
They looked like small giant spiders.
Fascinating.
Tiny giant spiders, one might say.
Well, the experiment worked. And she turns back to her companion, who just nods like, that's good.
Experiment.
And then she turns back to you, turns her attention back to you, and she says, the woman you killed, my cousin, Teresa.
Sorry.
That's what they called her, yeah.
She shakes her head. Don't apologize.
You're welcome.
She quirks a smile and she says, not that either. If you've only killed one woman, I'm not. And she looks past you at the other room. And then she says, so.
You want to make a deal?
I'm always down for more murder.
Perhaps.
I know that face. I've seen that deal.
Yeah,
Face.
she's like, perhaps.
You're saying that there's at least one other woman that needs to die before you're in charge. And if you're in charge, what do we get?
She puts her hands up and she says, I couldn't possibly encourage anyone to kill another drow, especially not a woman, especially
In
not
a
one I'm related to.
hypothetical scenario in which none of these other drow women were alive and you had to take charge, what would we get?
If you were to find my cousin's younger sister, Silcris.
You have a lot of cousins. I know that feeling.
She nods. She says,
Literally.
if you were to find her and there were to be a confrontation in which she didn't survive, then yes, I suppose I would be put in charge.
Mm-hmm.
If you've killed a member of House Arvindar, you've committed a terrible crime, but
It was self-defense.
I've committed so many terrible crimes in my life.
self-defense or not, it doesn't matter. Our
No.
lives are sacred to Lolth. But I could always blame it on the hobgoblins.
Oh, there was definitely one of those. I think they escaped.
An escaped hobgoblin. It makes perfect sense.
Again, you haven't answered my question.
Well, what do you want?
Skullport.
I think this is what, yeah. Passage to Skullport, directions to Skullport, loot, gold. Like, this is where Jewel stalls out because she was like, oh no.
Jewel starts describing all the shiny things.
She's like, do you have anything that sparkles? Catnip?
Jewel.
What do we want?
We want passage to Skullport.
What she
And
said.
if she is the leader of this level, we would like to be able to pass freely in the future so that we don't have to kill more and more drow over and over again, which we would gladly do, but it takes forever.
My cousins and I were sent here to secure this level. We've been working on it.
Yeah,
You
look
represent a
really
setback in that plan, but we can work with setbacks. Unfortunately, you've weakened us to the point where the Legion, they may have the upper hand. I'm going to have to send for reinforcements. I'm going to have to explain to Melith why I need to take her men from level 4, or we're going to have to wait until they come up from the gauntlet. Either way, things are tenuous now.
Wait. Gauntlet? Was that where they were fighting demigods? Gods, maybe? I heard.
She looks at you like, and then she says to Jewel, she's like, your necromancer speaks too much.
She's not a necromancer.
The zombies indicate otherwise.
Excuse me.
Not all zombies are necromancers, much like not all that glitters is gold.
They're necromantic at the very least.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to be? I thought you didn't want to be called a necromancer.
No, I've never said that, not once.
You hear.
She's a necromancer.
So yeah, when you while you're all kind of like bickering, you hear her like servant or whatever this other woman like scoff quietly, and the woman you're talking to just looks over her shoulder and raises an eyebrow, and in Undercommon, the woman just says, "No discipline."
Right. Well, why don't you two? Do you know the way to Skullport? A safe way to Skullport?
There's no such thing as a safe way to Skullport. You can take the river, but the hags have made that difficult.
Ooh, hags. I haven't killed one of those yet.
More information about that, please.
I say excitedly in common, like, ooh, they say they're hags on the river.
Is there a boat? Can we take a boat?
Travel has been fraught of late, in or out. Sargoth is cursed. Someone, and she kind of like looks up like somebody summoned some hags, river fiends, awful creatures. They've mostly been capturing men stupid enough to go by the river. We've avoided it for the most part. Skullport, it's not the priority right now.
For you.
I need to secure this level, and you need to get to Skullport. So maybe we can help each other out.
I mean, it sounds like you can't get there because of the hags. So what use are you? We should just kill
She
her
looks
too.
at you and she says, she uses a drowish word that's definitely an insult that means like surface dweller, but more literally translates into like moron. And she says, listen to me, surface dweller. The drow don't come down from above. We come up from below. Lower levels than this are under our complete control. The river's a side note. So, I suppose, if you wanted to, you and your heavily armed friends could kill the rest of us. Maybe you'd all survive, maybe you wouldn't. But you'd earn the wrath of House Arvindar forever. Or you can help me, and we can blame all this on hobgoblins. I can secure the level. And I can make sure that you can pass through safely. But I can't make those promises for the Legion or for the hags. They're outside of my control.
I whisper to 8. She's saying that we can, in common, like she's saying that we could make a deal and they'd blame it on the Legion and we'd have whatever free reign we could through here aside from the Legion and the hags. But honestly, we've already killed most of them, so we should just finish them off and deal with the Legion, don't you think?
Ask about the spell.
Where's your cousin?
She grins and she says, if I had to guess, and she looks at the door on the other side of the room.
And what's that way? And Jill points at the natural tunnel.
Let me see. What is that way? She says, okay, make an insight check.
Can someone else also do this?
No, this is just on you. This is all you, Jewel.
Insight.
You got one foot in the grave. It makes it hard to make. Oh, all she says is, oh, nothing of consequence.
I feel like Jewel does the immediate like kid thing where you're like, don't go there. It's nothing interesting. And she's like, I want to go there.
Yeah, and if you make it like look like you don't believe her or you like, look that way, she says, we have to have somewhere to dispose of things. There's nothing that way but
I love corpses.
cramped tunnels and dead bodies.
All right. Well, why don't the two of you go back to having fun and we'll talk.
She scowls and she says, I'll have you know you interrupted a very important ritual.
Oh,
And
well.
she looks and everyone's like just standing in the room. Are you all standing the way that it looks like you're standing? Because there is like a giant like circle
Jewel
of
is actively avoiding the entrail circles.
entrails on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kicked
well,
himself up while they've been standing there.
Yeah, when she looks,
I think I'm out of the way.
like very
Mhm.
important ritual, Makaria very intentionally like breaks the circle of entrails with her foot so that it's not complete anymore.
She sees you do that because I assume you just like eyeball her. You're like, oops, I wrecked you. She scowls and says, "You're lucky you're not a man."
I mean,
True. But
yes. Anyway,
I like how the
knock on the other door?
only man in the general vicinity is a very timid torchbearer.
oh, poor guy.
And Geldek's just like, what's everybody talking about?
And some corpses. Can I knock on the other door?
Yeah.
Wait, well, this door's open. God damn it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Makari, you just go over and like knock on the door.
And if we're knocking, I guess we'll knock.
Okay. So there's a knock, and in Undercommon, you hear a woman's voice snap, "Leave us alone."
No, sorry, we have to murder you. I look at 8 and I say, like, just break it.
Never mind. There went the plan to confront.
The woman that you were talking to, who you never got to get her name, she looks at you, Jewel, like, really? Wow, you're all so subtle. And so you said that you're like, we're here to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw out there, just randomly, that this is just spiraling out of control because I don't understand what is being said.
This is what happens when we don't let Rin do the talking. Okay, all right. So
Jewel's doing okay.
So you hear the unmistakable clicking sound of high heels on stone, angry high heel walking, like click, 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 and then the door is yanked open.
Yeah.
And then you're just gonna attack whoever's on the other side.
Yeah.
That like no one's told me to do it, but like
No, I definitely
our
said,
language
like,
is like
when I
Yeah.
said we're here to murder you, I nodded to 8 and I was like, let's break down the door.
So the door is yanked open angrily by the left hand of a drow woman. I will describe what's in the room and then we can go. So she's wearing studded leather armor. She has she's picked up a short sword as she's walked over to the door because She's like, what? Kill me. Who the fuck is this? And yanks the door open. She's got her sword in her hand. In the room, there is a naked drow, a man, strapped to a sturdy table, positioned between a suspended water barrel, a big 80-gallon water barrel. The naked man has a silk hood covering his head, and there's a pile of clothes in the corner.
Wrote this section at Wizards was real thirsty.
Yeah.
So thirsty.
So yeah, he's strapped to the table, and she appears to have been waterboarding him, I guess is what was going on here. So yeah, she comes over, and I guess she would be pretty. Everyone in the room is like very damp. There's a lot of splashing. So she walks over, she yanks it open, like, how dare you? What are you? And then she gets attacked. So yeah, 8, make an attack roll, and then we'll roll initiative.
Wow, I could have had surprise if someone didn't give the game away.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Oh, sorry. I didn't select my
Oh,
turn.
you took the good roll. How could you do this? How's a 14 on the stuff?
A 14 is insufficient. She parries the blow. So you lunge at her and she parries, and she like snarls like, what the hell? And then all hell breaks loose. So she goes in. So let's get that initiative going.
Can you clear it first, or is it good?
It is clear. Yeah, you're ready to go.
Sorry, I'll re-roll and then add mine.
Okay.
Jeez,
Why-
you rolled a 26 and then a 25. What is wrong?
Fine, I'm fucked from now on. I also forgot to
Marta.
check my token again.
Pelinonia,
Do
Geldax.
I have a penalty to my initiative?
Yeah, everything.
You should
Okay.
do.
All right, I'm gonna roll third time. Get on the tracker. There we go. And then I had the 26 minus 3.
So
Two.
gross.
No, the Stone of Good Luck doesn't count for
Okay.
initiative. I think. I haven't been adding it in.
Okay. All right. So, so yeah, it is 8. You can take a turn. You're first.
Oh, wait.
You got a 20, right?
Jewel not.
I got 23, but it's not
Oh,
updating.
it didn't. Oh, because it only took the last one. Okay, so Jewel, you're first then 8.
Well, Jewel just sort of sighs and shrugs.
Yeah, the drow woman you were talking to, Pelinonia, just gestures like, go ahead, prove it.
And she's gonna accept 8's in the way, but that's okay. 3, 5 feet,
Just stack on top of me.
15. It's a single person fit through the doorway,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah. The door is currently blocked.
I cannot get past them, can I?
No.
I mean, couldn't we just move out of the way like you always can move in your square for an ally?
Well,
can go-
yeah, but the problem isn't 8. The problem is that the drow is blocking the door on the other side. So you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, so I
you
can't actually get into
There's
the
nowhere
room.
to stop to stand and make the attack.
Oh, sorry. The
I
door
can't
even
move
takes up
through.
2 spaces on the
I
map.
wouldn't be able to get
This
to
is
this
door. You can't. Yeah, you can't cross this.
Because
this
I have to
place.
get through their square.
Yeah.
Well, in which case then I don't move. She just puts her like drops one of her short swords, pulls out her crossbow, and takes a shot.
Okay.
So let's go light crossbow. Ooh, that's a miss.
Oof. So when you take out your light crossbow and you fire, you hear the 2 girls behind you, and you can't attribute which voice, but one of them is like, "Oh my god, her crossbow is so big," and the other one's like, "Seriously, that crossbow is huge." So you fire, but you miss. You're so fatigued by being dead, and it was a bad shot to begin with.
Yep. No, that was bad all around. That's Jules' turn.
Okay, all right. 8.
Let's try that again.
Oh my god, Becky, look at her crossbow.
How about an 18?
Yeah, 18's a hit.
Okay. I will stab her for 13.
Oh, actually, hang on a second. I think she has an ability that might make that 18 not a hit. Yes. Yeah, she parries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she adds 3 to her AC. So so you lunge in and she
Oh shit!
blocks with the sword. The 2 of you are full on like dueling now. But you got more attacks, so we'll try again.
Yeah, you can only do that once a time. So So roll good again. 19.
Okay, that one's a hit.
I think you hear Jewel say, "Shove her backwards. I can't get in there."
I can't give a thumbs up, but like nod. Yeah. Deal 11 piercing damage.
Okay.
And with my excuse me, with my bonus action, I will indeed attempt to make a shove.
Push her back. Okay.
Yep. That is going to be a 21.
All right. So, and it's you push her 5 feet away from you?
Yes, I'll push it 5 feet back.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you can slam her with a shield and she like, staggers back.
Yeah, and I'll follow up. On my damage as well, I would like to have marked her in case anyone else wants to come to the room.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that's everything for me for now.
All right. Marta and Pelinonia and Gareth, who is the other woman you don't know, and they just watch. Rin, it is your turn.
Oh, right. The other guy's strapped to a table. I was like, there was.
Well, I definitely have all of my spells, but I'm not going to waste them on this one encounter. So I'm just going to vicious mockery this nerd.
That's the thing with looking at humanoids. You don't know what level they are.
Let's see. Wisdom save. All right. You mock the drow warrioress. She gets a 19.
Disadvantaged.
I rolled a 19. She has disadvantage on this roll, the save.
Oh, wait, you,
I got a 19.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said when you said you mock.
Oh, yeah. No, you attempt to mock her, but she goes unmocked.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. She
Yeah.
is not disadvantaged. She's fine.
Okay. Anything else, Rin?
Nope.
All right. Makaria?
I will use my bonus action to tell my zombies and my skeleton to kill all living drow.
Oh!
Okay. All right.
It's not.
Fucking
Okay.
escalation.
And then what are you
for
doing with
Makaria.
your action, Makaria?
I'm gonna toll the dead.
Okay.
DC 15 wisdom save for that lovely lady in the marked.
Okay. She gets an 11.
She takes. Has she taken damage? She takes
Oh,
7.
yeah. Takes 7 damage. Okay. All right. And then your zombie.
Cool. My zombies see a drow.
Yeah.
Wait, let me make sure. They're slower, right?
Yeah, they have 20 feet of movement.
Okay. I don't know that they can go through Jewel.
They can.
Oh, they can?
Yeah, because Jewel's an ally.
Are you gonna let them, Jewel?
I don't think you can
know.
stop them, and I don't think she knows what's going on.
Yeah, this is the thing is I don't know for movement. I don't know if you can turn that switch on and off. Like I block you now. I guess you can on anytime someone tries to pass through you can be like, we're not allies anymore.
You're consenting to allow them pass.
Yeah, Jewel, do you move out of the way as the zombie staggers forward?
Can she tell that they're going in for a melee attack? Like she is.
Yeah, it's a zombie with its arms out, being like shambling forward.
I mean, it's very single-minded.
Yeah.
I think she probably lets it, but then she turns to Makaria and she's like, "Makaria, what's your zombie doing?"
Oh, I just figured that these drow were already weakened, and we should deal with the hobgoblins instead.
And is this when the zombie attacks?
Yeah, that's on the zombie attack.
And then Jewel is like,
Boom. It gets a 11.
An 11 is insufficient.
Okay, well, my other zombie is gonna go 1, 2, 3.
So when the zombie attacks, Pelinonia shouts, "Traitors! Surface-dwelling, sunbathing traitors! I'll kill all of you!" She's pissed. And then your zombie is like doing the zombie thing where he's at the door like trying to grab her. Okay. All right. So meanwhile, fighting 8, the drow warrior, she is going to attack with her short sword.
Okay.
She gets a 23.
Jewel
Yeah,
mutters like,
I'll parry that. I'll warding maneuver that.
Okay. And then she makes her second attack.
Mm-hmm.
And this time she gets a 24.
Can't do it twice in a round.
Okay. So you take 9
That's
piercing.
is that a crit?
No,
or
it's
that-
not a crit. No.
Okay.
You take 9 piercing, and then you would take 16 poison damage, but you take 8 instead.
Okay.
So you take 17 damage total, I think.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So she's just like going at you with her sword. Makaria, you're a skeleton.
My skelly boy goes to here. There's a shot through the doorway, right?
If it has a bow, yeah, there's a lot of cover though.
Would it be better if it went to here?
No.
So it doesn't.
There's just no good. Like you can take a shot, but there's no clear shot.
Well, the zombie will take a shot, or the skeleton. It gets an 18.
Let me see. No, that's a miss.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of all the cover, right?
I will keep track of the arrows.
Yeah, please do. Okay, and that's them. Dave, what does Geldax do? Actually, hold on. If you want, well, you tell me what you want Geldax to do, and then I'll make morale checks to see if Geldax is capable of doing anything.
Stay in the room and keep things lit up.
Okay, so just stand perfectly still and do nothing.
Take the dodge action.
Yeah, right. That's exactly okay.
Geldax quietly panics himself to death. In the corner.
Yeah. Try not to
Very
hyperventilate.
relatable, I understand.
So wow, there's all this screaming and zombies, and he's standing in the middle of a circle of entrails, and he's clutching this torch, just like, oh gods, like I don't want to die. Yeah, so Geldax stands there, paralyzed with fear, but gets to take the dodge action.
Poor
Jewel,
guy.
it is your turn.
Jewel sort of mumbles in Makari's general direction, like it would have been smarter to kill them after we killed the first one while they weren't attacking us, and now we're attacking so many more people. Makaria, you just did not think this through. But she also sees that 8 got genuinely hurt by this other drow, and Makaria can die in the bed that she made with these 2 drow, and so she's gonna get into the room. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah. So you now that you 8 was able to push the so in the room, the drow with the hood over his head, you just hear him in undercover be like, Mistress, what's going on? I can't see anything. And yeah, you rush into the room.
And I think she managed to, if she had to, she dropped the light crossbow and then picked up the short sword with her the free move and then moved in there.
Yeah.
She's got 2 short swords. She hooks with cricket.
Nice.
Please roll better than I did. Fuck, she whiffs it with a 10.
Blocked.
It's really hard being alive after being dead.
Being severely dead.
But
better.
23 with the non-cricket.
All right, 23 is enough to hit. Yep.
Okay. And I do get sneak attack, so that was nice. For
Good.
20 damage.
One piercing damage on the offhand, but 19 sneak attack damage. Okay.
Sneak attack is so broken.
Okay. So 8, it is your turn.
Okay. Just do the thing again, I guess. Stabbing attempt. 117.
She doesn't have her shield. She's gonna have to parry that.
Okay. Second attack.
Yeah,
20.
that's a hit. Okay, so she parries the first one, takes the second one.
Deal 14 piercing damage.
Okay.
Mark her again.
Mhm.
Do that every round. I don't know how dangerous she is. Hard to say.
I'll help next turn.
Is it worth pushing her over? No.
Okay.
It's all right.
All right. Marta continues to watch. Pelinonia has something to do. She's going to attack that zombie.
Do it.
She gets a 7. So she stabs the zombie, but it doesn't do anything.
It has an armor class of 8.
Yeah. And then Girith runs over here, grabs a crossbow off the table, and then turns and fires it at the zombie. So let's see how that goes.
Can she get more than 8?
Yes, she can. She got a 15.
Okay.
And she deals 7 piercing damage. Are zombies immune to poison?
Yeah.
Okay, then I won't bother with any of the. Yeah, we
point.
won't bother with any of the rolling then for that. Okay, so 7 piercing damage.
7?
She fires the crossbow and deals 7.
Okay.
Rin, it's your turn.
Okay, so on a quick assessment of our friend over here.
Which one?
Sorry, this one. I pinged it. The
Yeah.
one 8 is fighting. Are they wearing / wielding any metal at all?
Her sword's made out of metal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But is it worth a 2nd level spell slot? I don't know.
Maybe a 2nd level spell slot.
Yeah, sure. Let's cast heat metal.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cast heat metal. A creature in contact with a metal object you can see takes 2d8 fire damage if it's holding a
Yeah,
weapon.
she takes 2d8 fire damage and then drops the sword.
And then drops it?
Yeah, because there's no way she's going to try to hold on to it.
Okay, I don't know. She's a drow. She might like it.
Yes, my sword. It's even better now.
15
Damn,
damage.
big damage. Okay, yeah, she screams in pain, like, drops the sword and looks at it like it bit her.
Rin is totally giving her game away, by the way. She's not wizard spelling at all. She's bard spelling right now. So our friend Marta will see.
That's true.
Oh no, you're embarrassing yourself in front of me.
I am
Gosh.
embarrassing myself in front of the wizards.
Well, maybe she doesn't have a complex about the inferiority of bards and spellcasters. Maybe it's just you.
Cool. Makaria? So when the sword, she drops her sword, she looks at it, she looks at you, and I think she puts her hands up, and in Undercommon, she says, Stop, I yield, I submit. Makaria, it's your turn.
That was a bad time to do that.
I know, right? It's just like,
I will not translate that.
Okay.
But I will path to the grave. Go on and chat. So I mark her life force for termination, which 8 would see. I've done it before, not very often, but I have done it before. A gruesome skull appears over her face.
Yeah.
And she's ready. Jewel could have like heard it herself though, so I don't know if Jewel's gonna translate. But
It is not Jewel's turn currently.
So I path to the grave. And then bonus action. Wait, that's not a bonus action, that's a full action. I don't think I have any bonus actions that would be helpful here. So yeah, I think that's it. Everything else is, all my spells are actions.
okay. All right. So Makaria, you're zombies, or the one zombie that can attack?
Yeah, the one zombie that can attack attacks.
Okay.
It gets a 16
That is a hit.
for 2 bludgeoning damage.
Nice. Good.
It tried so hard.
Okay.
Sorry.
So 8, this woman that you're fighting, like she's like clearly surrendered. She's like thrown her weapon aside, she's put her hands up. She takes the disengage action and she takes a step back.
It's not 8's turn.
I know, I'm just telling, it's her turn and she's surrendering.
Got it.
Yeah, so she doesn't do anything. She's just like, don't kill me. I think she probably says, she's like, I don't, she's saying all this in Undercommon, so you don't actually understand her 8, but she's saying it to you and to Jewel and whatever. So Jewel, you hear this. So she steps back and she says, I surrender. Stop. I'm very influential. I'm important. I can tell you things. If you've come this far, you've already killed my sister. I don't know what that bitch, she said, I don't know what that bitch Pelinonia promised you, but she's irrelevant. I'm the one with all the real power around here. And if you want anything, you'll listen to me.
She does seem to be the one with like some class levels, maybe. She like withstood more than a hit or 2.
Yep. So that's her turn. Makaria, your skeleton.
My skeleton will shoot at the
Pelinonia.
Do better, Skelly boy. A
Nope.
10.
Miss.
Does not do better.
Geldex takes the dodge action. Jewel.
Jewel, realizing 1, that maybe she's still dead hungover. 2, they've been speaking in an Undercommon this whole time, and only Makaria understands that, and maybe this is a bad plan. She's like, do you speak anything other than Undercommon?
She responds in Elvish and says, I speak the tongue of elves as well.
I think Jewel recognizes Elvish but doesn't speak it.
Yeah, anyone who speaks Elvish hears and understands that.
Finally, a reasonable conversation.
And so she
Not
hears.
reasonably conversing right now. We're killing.
Yeah, she hears
people.
you say
Kill
that from the
them.
other room, and she says, "Yes, we can all be reasonable here. There's no purpose to all of this killing."
And then Jewel, with her entire action, does as quick of a summary as she can of what they previously talked about, and then how Makaria decided to have the zombies kill the other group. She's like, we just want someone to help us to get to Skullport. I don't really care who. Doesn't matter. I want your shiny stuff. What's down that hallway? Why can't I go down that hallway? It's very important.
So
Clearly.
Pelinonia, who is struggling with a zombie, hears you talking, and she shouts from her room. She's like, "Don't listen to them, Silchris. They're filthy above-worlders. They're going to betray you." And she's like, "Shut up, you betrayed me."
She definitely did.
And they're just like shouting at each other. They're like, "No, you shut up." And then Silchris is like, "I can help you. If you're traveling through Undermountain, I know things. I have allies. Please."
And then I think she's just explaining most of this to Rin. She basically wants to catch Rin up on like everything that happened that she didn't understand in Undercommon. And then Makaria thought it was a good idea to have her zombies attack both of them at the same time.
Yeah, well, we've already cleared out most of the drow. Why are we negotiating with the party that's not in control of this level?
So, Jeweler, you, I guess 8. It's on you. So
friends with both of them.
8. What do you want to do?
And that's her turn.
Yeah, Jewel spends her turn translating.
Everyone's yelling and talking in languages I don't understand.
You don't understand one language.
And then Jewel tries to say it all in common for 8.
Murder.
The language of murder, and she has a skull over her face, so
Yeah.
no extra damage, so it'd be really easy. But she's also surrendered.
That'd be so easy.
And this, yeah, and I love this, right? It's like the shot would be the same, right? It would be like we'd hear everyone shouting and it wouldn't have any subtitles. The camera would be focused on you. We would be using like a low depth of field so that everyone looks blurry even though they're moving around a lot. And we would probably vignette the shot so that only 8 is properly lit. And it's very clearly like 8, based on what's going on, like what do you do? Is this a just like murder someone who surrendered moment, or is this what are you gonna do, 8?
Been so good recently.
XP file.
Do you take that step forward and plunge the javelin into her chest, or do you let her live?
Moral dilemmas.
These are drow. They were murdering us just a moment ago.
Well, I mean, you did kind of invade their holy
I don't think we have the moral high ground in this situation.
I don't think they were trying. There's this whole like you came into their place of worship and started stabbing them, and it's a whole thing. So,
yeah, I think 8 gets confused and frustrated, and probably just like sheaths the javelin and just like smacks the door frame really hard, and definitely the eyes go like the blue of like confusion. Because I think they get overwhelmed a little bit.
Yeah. So Marta sees all this happening and she steps forward in Elvish. She says, "Good. Yes, everyone, let's just calm down. Weapons down, please. Makaria, your servants, call them off."
Would you rather they attack you?
Marta looks at you like, "Don't fuck with me. I have spells now." And you probably get a little like wizard crackle. Like she looks at you and there's like a little like lightning like flicker on her fingers. And she's just like, "Back the fuck down, Makaria. We're all gonna have a talk."
We're letting all the XP go.
So
We only have 2 sessions left. Who cares?
So you can't let them free. So Pelinonia is still fighting with the zombies, so she's gonna attack it. Because you can't tell them to stop until it's your turn. So she makes an attack, she does 5 damage to the zombie. Rin, what do you want to do on your turn?
Wait, how much damage? Sorry.
5.
Okay.
Yeah. So Rin, what do you want to do?
I mean, I want to de-escalate. If Marta wants to de-escalate, I also want to de-escalate.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
It's all fine. So I like stand back, I guess, where I am already. and then just sort of cough into my hand, like, whenever the zombies are called off, you know, I
feel like this is everyone shouting at Makaria, like, make them stop.
But why? I don't understand.
So, I mean, yeah, Rin, if you're just like trying to convince, like, get Makaria to do it, Makaria, what are you gonna do with your bonus action?
I seriously don't understand why we're not murdering. Like,
Do we want an out of character discussion about this situation?
Like, is this an out of character problem or a Makaria problem?
I mean, like, partially both.
Okay.
Like, we murdered an entire room of drow. They had giant spiders. They came at us, and then the second we come in here, suddenly we're like making nice. When they've just straight up said that they can't actually get us to Skullport because there are hags in the way. I mean, I guess like you didn't hear about that, but like,
I mean, what I have seen you do in character, from my perspective, is have a long conversation with a bunch of drow that you seem to agree on something with, and then you immediately turn violent on them as soon as you turn your back. Like, that is what I have seen in character, right? Which you're the asshole. Which, I mean,
but why would we trust drow?
I mean, why would you trust you, right? Like, or anybody, right? Like, there's
why would we trust anybody in this dungeon, though? Like,
perspective is
we're like bringing along NPCs. We're like letting people go. Like, this entire place is full of like people who are trying to kill other people. That's the whole point of Undermountain.
We're also part of that group of people trying to kill other people. From Jules' perspective, there's no way they can destroy everyone. So keeping some of the drow around, it was the part where the hobgoblin said, like, it would, if we did all of their job for them, it would make them look bad, right? They're going to continue fighting. So in Jules' mind, she just actually wants to befriend both of them. If both sides like them, then the party can actually have safe passage through this level, because both sides, as long as they continue to exist, think that the party is good.
I mean, I think
Makaria's evil, and she thinks that safe passage.
And you know what? Evil is fine and totally good, and we get that you're evil. But you know what? I am lawful neutral, and people just surrendered.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that there is a conflict, right? But it comes down to, like, Makaria, whether you call off the zombies and then everybody has a talk about it.
I mean, we just walked through their jail where they were kidnapping and torturing people, and now we're just letting them.
Okay, but I think it's important.
Have a basement full of dead bodies.
It's really important not to play the moral high ground on this, because you're just as bad as they are.
Okay, I get that, but like, why is the
because we cannot destroy all the drow. And if the drow, like, Jules' perspective is we can't win.
Yeah.
There's no way we can outwin this dungeon. Our goal is to just survive. So the more, it's not that they're allies, it's the more people that don't actively hate us and don't try and kill us on sight, the higher our chances of survival.
I mean, they can't kill us on sight if they're dead.
But they do have power and authority.
Yeah. And
that's something that will be helpful later on. Jewel is planning for the future in the dungeon, that, like, if we're on level 5 and the drow are like, oh, these are these people that
yeah. So I mean, this is a thing that's sort of like harder to see early on, but like the Xanathar's Guild, House Arvendir, the Zentarum, like all of these people have
if the point
bases on various levels.
Right? Why should we kill them for XP if we're only playing for 2 more sessions? Then why should we be planning for the future?
I mean, we should be playing under the assumption that you're playing your characters regardless of how many more sessions we're playing. Like, don't make that part of your decision.
Here's the thing, right? Like, out of character.
Yeah.
If you want to go down that route where it's like, yes, let's zombie kill these drow, I'm not opposed, right? Like, out of character, it's good drama and like whatever. Like, I'm cool with it. In character, I am going to have a problem with it because that's just.
Well, because that's your character's
just the way the character works.
Well, but then right? I don't get the conflict of, like, these people were like capturing and torturing unwilling humans, but now we're okay with negotiating with them in terms of like your.
Well, and again, I think the thing is that we have to take the moral high ground and throw it away, because
I'm partied up with you, so the moral high ground.
Yeah, all of you are just as bad as these drow,
and I am terrible as well.
Yeah, you're all terrible.
there's a conflict in like your explanation here. Is that like, I get that, yes, they're like surrendered, but they're also like people who captured and tortured.
Here's my
No, but you're describing.
Here's my statement for you
Yeah.
on that. You can talk about whatever conflict there is, and I totally respect that there is like no good answer because there's not a good situation. But you can't define what I want to do with my character in the same way that I can't tell you not to do the thing you want to do.
I'm not trying to define it. I was just trying to understand it because it seemed like those two clauses were in conflict to me.
No, so I think the problem is, Blue Jay, you're thinking about. So it sounds to me like Rin respects the surrender and doesn't really care about all the murdering, because if she cared about all the murdering, then she probably wouldn't be friends with you. Like, it's very,
or be an adventurer at all.
Well, it's very, I mean, it is that lawful neutral thing where it's like she surrendered and that is more important to you than the fact that she's a drow or that they torture people or capture them or whatever. Like, none of that stuff seems to matter that much to Rin.
I mean, like, I was ready to kill them all. Then she dropped her, like, when she dropped her weapon, she gave up.
Yeah.
If I kill her now, I'm the asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and that's the thing is it's more interesting that there are contradictions, right? Like, that's just how it is.
totally. And again, this isn't me being like, fuck this. I'm just like, in character, there will be a problem.
Yeah. So let's not worry too much about in character. So out of character, as players, like, what do you want to do right now?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Makaria, you want to kill all these drow.
I mean, I want to continue delving through the dungeon and and exploring for like the amount of sessions that we're gonna be continuing.
Sure.
To play. I'm fine with like some in character, like some like negotiations and stuff, but like it seemed like the conversation we had with the drow was like, we can't really help you get to Skullport, so like why not just like get past it and kill them?
The thing is that they are influential and they are powerful, and they say like, we can help you, like, stop trying to kill us. And to Lauren's point, like, yeah, if you want them to be fighting each other, not you, right? So yeah, you could kill all of them, but also they might be able to help you. They might be able to tell you where to go or have information or whatever. Like, sparing them gives you some leverage.
Like, this is a different person, right? Like, this person who's just surrendered isn't the same person we just talked to. They haven't given us any information to or from.
Well, yeah,
whatever.
but you're asking me to like stand down from the two that were saying like, oh, there's hags. Like,
I mean, they haven't surrendered yet. I don't care.
Okay, so.
Well, the thing is, like, about surrendering is they were already surrendered and then you attack them.
I guess
so like they
that's
can't
true.
re-surrender, right? Like she's literally like, Pelinonia is literally fighting for her life because this zombie is trying to kill her. And until that thing stops, there's no reason for her to just be like, okay, I dropped my sword and then the zombie chews my face off. Like, if you call the zombie off, she won't fight it because she doesn't want to fight you because she thought you were friends to begin with.
In that statement, I was trying to look for a middle ground.
Yeah, they've already surrendered and then you picked a new fight with them, so they can't really back out of it. You put them in a corner, which is why it lands on Makaria to either call off the zombies or not, right? Like, if you call off the zombies right now, the fight's over. If not, then Pelinonia will keep fighting and her friend will keep fighting. Then they'll try to fight you if they kill the zombies. I don't know what Silcris will do. She'll remember that that's what you did.
I don't know. It's fine. I'll just call off the zombies. I don't really like understand the like situation, and I don't like really want to hold up the play for longer.
I mean, the discussion is fine. Like,
Yeah.
I just
the kind of stuff we gotta go through.
I don't know. We're in a dungeon to kill things, and like we're just like, I get that. Like, yes, like like RP's good and great, but like, I feel like every time that I actually play my character as my character, there's an issue.
That's because your character is evil and they do evil things in a party full of not evil people.
Okay, well, but it started as a party that was half evil and half not evil, so I didn't think it was.
Things shift, right? Alignment changes, and I think that this kind of conflict can change the way that the characters see each other and the world, and like you can change your alignment, right? Like you can shift. And so getting into the situation like this where you're like, I'm doing this thing, and then everyone's like, stop doing the thing. That's a point of change, right? You can be like, oh, well, now I'm not going to do the thing anymore, or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's been really interesting for me with 8 because 8 has 3 role models, has small fledgling child. One of them is Makaria, who gives them like opportunities to do things that are in their nature.
Mm-hmm.
But the other two are more persuasive and nicer to them. So they're slowly shifting like further away from that. So I think that's why sometimes they don't do what you want.
I don't know.
Both options are totally valid.
Yeah. You just have to decide. You just let me know. Does the zombies keep attacking or no?
I just said the zombies back off. I don't want to, like, if everyone in the party is like, let's just nod, then I'll just nod.
Okay.
All
right, cool.
So the zombie like stops fighting, and like steps back. Pelinonia, I think as soon as that happens, she falls back and her friend like steps up in front of her, like, get away from her, you jerks. And she's got the crossbow and she's standing very like defensively in front of her ally. And Silkrus has like dropped her weapon, and they're like, she's surrendered. What does everybody do in that moment? Like once that's happened?
Okay, I think
the floor to Rin.
I was gonna say, I think the first thing that I do is like look over past the zombies to the two in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, chaos happens. They're not very smart. I say, like, in Elvish, like pointing at the zombies, and then I just walk away as if that explains everything.
Okay.
Over towards this lady over here.
Okay.
And I say, whatever you have for us better be worth it. We have you at the end of a barrel, or we have you over a barrel here. Like, we need a way to Skullport. We need any information you have. We need safe passage through these areas. We need any valuables that you have that may help us.
And so she nods, and she's kind of like nursing her like burned hand, and she's still got some like pokes from the javelin, and she says, my sister is dead. And she nods and she says, well, technically she was the one in charge, but if she's dead, then I'm in charge now. And she looks across, she like looks past you at Pelinonia, like, we're gonna have a conversation later. And she says, but you spared my life, and that's worth something.
I would hope your life is worth something.
I don't mean to me. Obviously, it's worth almost everything to me. I mean to my house, to my family.
House, I heard it before. Arvindar?
She nods.
And they're more numerous down here than just this post?
You came from above, so I can't expect that you would understand this, but we have outposts throughout Undermountain. We've been spreading out in the hopes of gaining some additional terrain. Access to Waterdeep this close to the surface could be useful for our trade. We're in the middle of trying to seize this level from those filthy hobgoblins. But my sister, Melith, she's operating in the Twisted Caverns, and another 6 or 7 levels below the majority of the house in the Gauntlet. We're all over the place, but she like winces. But we've been pushing from here. It was our job. It was going fine until today. I'm going to have some uncomfortable reports I need to write. The question becomes, when I write back to my mother and tell them who killed my sister and how I got into this position and how we're going to have to fall back, who am I going to blame for it?
Well, I would hope it would be the hobgoblins.
She looks past you at Pelinonia. She's like, yes, it does seem like the right move. I have to assume that you are acting on the benefit of my cousin, seeing as how she's alive.
Certainly.
Well, I'm sure she told you how important she thinks she is. She lied to you. She's nobody. And Pelinoni like scoffs. She's like a second cousin of a weak line of the house. She scoffs again. And she says, but I do have some influence. Not as much as Teresa, but now I know you want gold or magic items, but anything that I could give you, you're not going to be able to take home with you. We weren't exactly given vast supplies of treasure.
No, I imagine not, but some useful things, surely. Maps, charts,
And
magic weapons.
she shakes her head.
I got you, Dave. I got you.
Not this far. Not this far up. I'd like to brag to you about how important I am, but and she gestures. I mean, you killed my sister. She was the one in charge. If she wasn't given any artifacts, you can be certain that I wasn't either. We're not hiding anything from you. If I had anything to give you, I would.
All right. Well, what about the rest of what I said?
I have information.
Please.
This level is strategically important. The river. Sargath. It's a throughway to Skullport. House Arvendir. And Pelinonia says, Silcris, no. And she looks and she's just like, shut up, Pelinonia. House Arvendir, we need to secure this level so that we can invade. That's the plan. Take this level, seize the river, and use it to invade and seize Skullport.
Ah. Well, that's going to be a little more difficult now, I think.
Yes, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Then you know how to get there. You know which way to go. You're planning an invasion.
She nods. She says, but it's become somewhat more complicated. You see, when we first came up here, the river was just the river. Dangerous, but water and rocks. She looks around as if like looking for a wire or like a camera or whatever. And she's like, but not anymore. The hags. He called them up. I think specifically to thwart us.
He who?
You can't tell me you've gotten this far without interacting with the fool architect of this place.
I'm just making sure we're talking about the same vague figure. When we talk in, I cannot remember the word given the life of me right now. But look, it's important we know who we're talking about.
I've come to learn that using his name only draws his attention further.
I see. Well, I mean, so you have nothing to give us, and your good word to your house is the only valuable thing sort of on the table.
If you plan to press on, my sister has an outpost on the lower level. She shakes her head and she says, she looks at you and she looks at the brooch and she says, there's a ring in my pocket.
There's a ring.
And she looks at the cloak and she
You're
says,
wearing
you don't have to reach
a
very
cloak.
far. Yeah. So you just reach in and you take out this spider ring with a sort of stylized elvish character on it. And she says, it's a sigil of mine, my house. Take it. Not that I could stop you. Show it to my sister. Her name is Melith. You can say I gave it to you. That might be inclined to encourage her to help you. I'd send a letter ahead, but And she looks over at the guy strapped to the table. And she's like, my servant base is a little low right now.
I mean, I'm sure you're capable of writing.
It's not the writing that's the problem. It's getting it to her.
Fair enough. So,
But I suppose I could write you something of a letter of introduction. That might help encourage Melith to treat you better.
I mean, better is good. Certainly.
She's an odd one, but it might work.
An odd one how?
Prone to fits of chaotic behavior.
I see. Well, then a letter of introduction is probably more than necessary, considering showing her your ring will probably not help. If
Fine.
she is prone to chaotic behavior, that seems like a good way to let her know we killed you.
Fine, give me something to write with. Paper.
I hand over
Okay.
various writing.
So she
implements.
takes the quill or the pen or whatever from you, the paper. She walks over to this guy who's laying down, and she just uses him as a desk. She just puts the paper on him, and he makes a sound like he's startled because he can't see, right? And so she like writes something on this paper, and she folds it up and she gives it to you.
All right, I take it, I open it, and I look at what it says.
Yeah. So it's addressed to Melith. It's written in Elvish. It basically says, I, and therefore our house, and therefore you, owe these people a favor. They spared me in an opportunity, or when they had the opportunity to kill me. So treat them accordingly. And then just her like signature.
I fold it, put it away.
Okay.
All right, then I suppose point us in the direction of the river, and our business is concluded.
You're closer than you think. That tunnel outside. Just follow it. The edge of the river is there.
I look to Jewel like, there you go. That's what's down there. All right. Well, I'll let you get back to your...
She turns and looks at the prisoner, and she sighs and she says, I don't think I'm in the mood anymore.
I shrug as if that doesn't matter to me, and then I leave, still wearing her cloak.
You're like, I'm taking your cloak. Okay, sure.
And that's my move.
Okay, yeah. So you head back out. Pellinonia and her girlfriend are standing in this room like they're whispering to each other. And you definitely get the impression that they're like, what are we gonna do? Like when they leave the room, what's gonna happen? Like there's this, you're walking out of a powder keg, right? Because they're basically just like, as soon as you go, they're gonna finish whatever conversation. So I think what's happening right now is Gareth and Pellinonia are like, can we take her? Like if we just rush in that other room, they softened her up pretty good. What are we gonna do? So they're just, they're whispering about that, and they're not really paying any attention to you.
Jewel goes down the tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess tunnel direction.
Okay. So, you start heading into the tunnel. As you leave, Silkrest comes out into the room. We'll move Geldex out. I don't think you all see any of this, but she comes out in the room, and we hear her say, like in Elvish, cousin, why don't you come out here? We should talk. And then Gareth shoots at her with a crossbow. So you hear Pellinoni's girlfriend be like, I have nothing to say to you. Suck crossbow. And she shoots at her. So let's see if this might be over fast. She gets a 22. She kills Silkrest in one shot.
What?
Shoots her in the face.
After all that?
Yep. So Gareth's girlfriend is just like, don't you dare come after my girlfriend. Blam! Just shoots her in the face, crossbow bolt to the eye. She grabs her face and falls onto the floor. and Pelinonia comes out, like, looks down at her sister's body, spits on her, and then as you're leaving, she says, she's like, don't worry, the agreement still holds, just I'm in charge now. And she turns back to the body and she's like, you hear me, Silkris? I'm in charge. And she like kicks her in the ribs.
Sure, that was the original deal.
Yeah, she's like, you
Whatever.
know what? It's fine. Now I'm the boss. And I think the last thing you see is Pelinonia going into the other room where that guy was tied up. And she's undoing the dressing gown that she was wearing. And you just, as her and Gareth close the door behind her, you hear her say, hello there. I suppose you belong to me now too. And then the door clicks shut.
Oh my god.
Yep. So this tunnel, as you enter it, is full of cold breeze, right? Wind is blowing through it. The air is damp. The walls here are carved by erosion and like from the wind and from the dampness in the tunnel. And as you go, Geldax, I think, comes up to you, 8, like walking next to you, and he says, that was terrifying. I didn't know we were going to get out of that alive.
It was less a case of whether we would get out alive, but which of them would. Very confusing.
And he nods and he says, you know, one day you're just a simple lamplighter, and then the next day you're carrying a torch for some kind of mighty warrior and their deadly friends, and then there's zombies and dark elves, and if old Uncle Breer were able to see me now.
What do you think? Be pleased.
And he looks at you and he says, my uncle used to admonish me for being a coward. Well, who's a coward now? Huh?
Not you. And also he is dead and you're not. So
And he nods and he just like clutches his torch and he looks at you and he says, you know, after watching you fight with that drow, I think I'm gonna be okay. I'm not so scared anymore.
just like, if I can make an awkward face and turn around.
Yeah, lucky you can't make that face.
But yeah, I got 23 times more hit points than he does.
You really do, yeah.
Feels bad.
Yeah. And so maybe then with him saying that and you kind of looking like, well, okay. Maybe as you descend into this howling tunnel, maybe that's our last scene, right? We fade out on that.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. So you make a note. You overcame your drow encounter. So that's the note on here.
I feel like this episode was just a happy romp through the drow BDSM dungeon.
I mean, this is what you get, right? Like,
I'm not saying that it's a bad thing.
No, not you. I mean, this is what the people who invented this culture of matriarchal BDSM followers. This is what happens. You make them, and then people put them in your adventure.
So one weird horny nerd dude. Now it's just.
It was a choice. It was a choice.
Yeah. I wonder whose fault is this? Right? Like, who wrote Queen of the Demon Web Pits? Like, this goes all the way back. I'm pretty sure.
A long way back.
I'm pretty sure this is some straight up like OG Gygax shit for sure. Yeah, we can't even blame Ed Greenwood for this one. But yeah, cool. All right, I have made a note for everybody to get some experience for that next time you rest. Let's do some shout outs and we will call it an episode. Let's start with Elf. Elf?
Oh, hello. I am Distracted Elf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter @DistractedElf. Immediately after this, I'm gonna try and do some WoW Classic streaming.
Ooh.
But who knows what the servers will look like? So
The
Fair.
last tweet I saw said 251 minutes.
I mean, that depends on your server.
Yeah.
I'm not playing on the one all the other streamers are playing on, so hopefully I can dodge that queue.
Cool. Well, good luck on your login queue, and good luck with playing Classic WoW. I will probably tune in and watch because I'm curious enough to see it, but not enough
I am
to
curious
play.
enough to play it and then see what I think of it when I
Yeah.
do. I'm not going like, yeah, 14 hours in a row. Let's get no, it's not
Yeah,
good.
no, I'm excited. I'll definitely tune in and watch. Lauren, go next.
My name is Random Tuesday. You can find me pretty much all the places at Random Tuesday. I'm a cosplayer, streamer, general nerd. You can find me working on my Aloy cosplay and also wearing it at PAX this weekend, where we have a Roll20 panel.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Or normally on Sundays, you can also find me playing Shadowrun 6th Edition over on Roll for It.
Hell yes. Murder Machine, Dave, take it away.
I'm gonna do the same thing as Elf, but you should probably watch Elf instead. She's much better.
We're gonna work together, so it's fine. We're in the same place, so
Oh yeah, we'll probably be on the same things. But yeah, I wanted to just say thank you again to everybody who has made it possible through your kind donations to get both Elf and I 2 packs. It's been an overwhelming amount of support. Yeah, hopefully people who can get there can like say hi and stuff, and that'll be
Yeah, I'll make sure to. I'll give all the details at the end when it's my turn.
awesome.
But yes, thanks everybody for helping us get Dave and Elf to pack.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Queen of the Zombies, Makaria, Blue Jay, do the thing.
Hi, I'm Blue Jay. You can find me at twitch.tv/BlueJay or on Twitter at BlueJay_712. And you can be sure that next campaign, I'm just going to stick myself right in the middle.
neutral. You'll have done them all then, because you'll be like lawful good, super evil. You like nail the middle then.
Tell me, Blue Jay,
Ambivalence is great.
Tell me, Blue Jay, how does a woman become neutral? What horrible thing had to happen to you in your life to turn you neutral?
I have no strong feelings. One way or the
Just
other.
saw it.
Perfect. Where can people find you on the internet? Being neutral, Blue Jay.
I already said it.
Yeah, you're good. That's it. No other things you need to say. All right. So as everybody mentioned, you're gonna find us next at PAX. We're gonna do a panel. It's on Sunday. It's at 8:30 Pacific, and it's going to be live at PAX, and it is going to be streamed. And I believe it will be on one of the PAX channels and hosted right here on twitch.tv/DND if their schedule is to be believed. So we'll be there for that. Obviously, because of PAX, we're not going to have a show on the 2nd, but we'll be back on the 9th. And there is a pretty good chance that will be the last Dungeon of the Mad Mage episode. We're still working out some details about whatever the next thing and how that's going to go. But if you're into Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you want to catch that last episode live, it'll be on the 9th. So make sure you tune in for that. If you're watching this on YouTube and it's like the year 4000, please join my cult. Thank you for coming, everybody. This has been Dungeon of the Mad Mage. You've been a delight. I just wanted to call out before I take off here, not to tot it up too bad, but what we did today when we had like an in-character thing that was weird, and we were like, let's just stop a second and like take a step back and talk about it as players. Do that. There's not enough advice to do that in any Dungeon Master's Guide in the world, but like ostensibly you're playing a role-playing game with your friends, and while the characters might have like weird tension, exploring that tension is like fun. It can be fun for the game. So taking a step back and talking about it as players, it's primo. It's good stuff. We do a lot of that off stream. So it's really cool to be able to do it on stream and kind of show everybody like, just take a second, put a pin in it, talk about it, and then jump back in and play your characters. I think a lot of people get weird about metagaming, but like we're all playing a game. We want it to be fun, right? So yeah. So do that. It will make your game better. If you learn nothing else from us, take that away. But that's it for us. We're going to be back in a couple of weeks. We'll see you at PAX. Have a good one. Bye, everybody. See you later. Whether you're a brand new fan or a longtime viewer, you can support the show and the cast of Roll20 Presents by going to roll20.net/start/roll20presents and signing up for a free account. Dungeon Masters will find maps, tokens, and a cornucopia of exciting tools to improve their game. Players will gain access to built-in character sheets with support for dozens of different role-playing games. No matter what role you take, our quantum randomized dice roller is there to keep the action moving. Don't wait to join the party. Sign up today at roll20.net/start/roll20presents.